You know that feeling when you think you've finally nailed your medication schedule, only to realize that Parkinson's had other plans? Yeah, I've been there. And what no one told me early on is that Levodopa isn't a long term roommate. It's more like a short term guest. It comes in, it does the job, and then it leaves before dinner. So today, I'm going to share the 5 biggest medication timing mistakes that I've made and what I do now to make sure my meds actually work for me instead of against me. And stick around till the end because once you understand how to keep this short term guest happy, your whole day will start to feel oh so much smoother.
Welcome to Living with Parkinson's. The good, the bad, and the reality. Real talk, real life, real community with Bryce Perry. Let's begin.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Bryce, and I was diagnosed with Parkinson's at the age of 40, and I'm still doing life today, 15 years later. So if you're new here, this channel is all about the good, the bad, and the reality of Parkinson's, hopefully with a little bit of humor and a lot of heart. So hit that subscribe button, and let's start by looking at what really goes on inside your body every time you take that little yellow pill. And if you have Parkinson's or love someone that does, you know what I mean by the little yellow pill. Anyway, here's the science. Here's the deal. When you take levodopa, your body starts converting it into dopamine, right? But that process is fast. Within about 90 minutes, half of it's already gone. And by the 3.5 to 4 hour mark, you're usually running on empty. Think of it like your phone battery. No matter how good your charger is, by mid-afternoon, you're back in low power mode. Now, if you add an inhibitor to it, like pramipexole, that battery lasts a bit longer, but most of us are living on short charge cycles, which means your timing isn't about guessing, it's about charging before it dies. Okay? Now that you know how short that battery life really is, let's talk about what drains it faster, what slows it down, and how you can find your sweet spot. Okay, so if you've ever felt your meds running out of steam before your next dose, hit that like button and know that you're definitely not alone. So let's talk about the first mistake, and I call this one chasing the dose. Okay, chasing the dose. This one got me for years. You feel your meds wearing off, maybe the stiffness, fatigue, or the mental fog, or your symptoms, whatever the symptom is, starts to come back, and you grab your next pill early. Totally by instinct almost, right? The problem is your body hasn't processed the last dose yet. So when you start to stack your pills, you're flooding your system, which leads to spikes, crashes, and actually irritability. So here's what I finally figured out. Instead of reacting, I started tracking patterns. I realized my off times hit at almost the same point every day. So now I take my next full dose about 20 minutes before that crash. Not early out of panic, but early on purpose. And that's the difference. Not early out of panic, but early out of purpose. Okay? That's why you track your meds. Now, when I say about stacking them, you're going to find yourself in trouble. It's when you're kind of like popping one in between and then keeping that regular cadence going, right? So you're kind of overdoing it. So instead of overdoing it, find that rhythm and adjust. And of course, when I give these types of tips, always check with your doctor first and your health, whoever it be, your neurologist or your movement disorder specialist, and make sure that you kind of go with it with them. Okay. Now, doing a little bit different today. Carmen's Corner right now, coming right up, Carmen's Care Partner Corner. She is going to make a comment about all these different tips, okay? And so here's what Carmen has to say about care partners in this. She said that she used to call those panic pills. And now she says, you're finally driving the bus instead of running behind it. And it's true. Once I stopped chasing and started anticipating, my whole day smoothed out. Now, see, when you stack your doses, dopamine spikes too quickly, and the brain's receptors, they downregulate, meaning you get a shorter relief the next time. But when you pace it evenly, your brain finds the rhythm. It's not magic, it's chemistry. And if you're living the solo, don't have a care partner, if you live alone, use your phone to note exactly when your meds wear off for a few days. And when you see the pattern, that's when you try shifting your next dose just 15 to 20 minutes earlier. It's a game changer, I'm telling you. How about this? Comment #chaser if you've ever found yourself topping up too early, because we've all been there. There's no shame in that. Trust me, when you're experimenting, it happens a lot. Okay, let's move on to mistake number two. I call this one burning through your dopamine too fast. So, have you ever had one of those days where you're on fire, right? You're working in the yard, you're cleaning the house, you're fixing everything, right? That everything that's been sitting there for months, and then you crash like a brick by mid-afternoon. Been there too. I've been there many times. So what's happening is you're burning through dopamine faster. Physical activity, stress, caffeine, even excitement, they all hit the gas pedal on your dopamine usage. So here's the science behind that. Your brain uses dopamine to coordinate movement. So the more you move, the faster you drain your supply. Now you add coffee or tea, or and then you accelerate the absorption, which you also then short the effect. Same with splitting or crushing pills. They kick in faster, but they fade sooner. Even fizzy water can speed up the process because it dissolves the pill faster in your stomach. So again, think about what I just said there. Caffeine, fizzy water, breaking up the pill. So if you need to get some dopamine into your system quicker, they all help you get it in quicker. But again, there's no that little yellow pill doesn't know that it's like, hey, I'm going in a little bit soon, so I'm going to last longer. No, it still lasts what it's going to last. So the quicker it gets absorbed into your system, the quicker you're going to be out of it. So you have to remember all that stuff when you're taking your meds. So here's what I do now. If I know I've got a busy day, right? Like say like home repairs or travel, I shorten my window. And I used to start doing that. When I first started my medication, I was going in at 4 hour doses, right? Take my meds every 4 hours. Well, when I had those busy days or I was really heavy travel day, I would cut it down to about 3.5 hours. Sometimes three, depends on how much I was going to do. And I hydrate like it's my job. So really, really, really experiment and figure out what's going on and drink lots of water. And what does Carmen, the Care Partner Corner expert, have to say about this? Well, she jokes that she can tell when I've gone full handyman mode, right? She'll say, like, you're burning hot today. Better top up the tank. And she's usually right. And if you live alone, plan your doses around your activity days. You can't always avoid burning through dopamine, but you can time your pills. You can time your refills better. Okay? So, how about this? Drop an emoji wrench if that sounds familiar. Or if caffeine has ever betrayed you before lunch. You know, that's one thing. It's just caffeine. I love my coffee, but I just have to be careful and watch how I'm doing. Not be careful. Sorry, let me back up. I want to say that right. I want you to understand what I'm saying. I don't have to be careful, right? I listen. Parkinson's makes you do a lot of things. It makes you study, you do a lot of things. It makes you go tracking things and everything else. So the last thing I'm going to do is try to figure out, oh, I can't have a coffee now because I have meds coming up. No, that's why I don't plan myself around. I just plan it around. Okay. And I understand what I'm doing and how much I'm going to use and how it affects me. And then I adjust accordingly. Okay. Again, all under the guise of my doctor and having the ability to experiment with that. Okay. How about this? Mistake number three. And I call this one slowing your system down. Now let's flip it. Just like some things make your meds hit harder and faster, other things put the brakes on it. And not in a good way. Big, heavy meals, especially with protein or fat, they slow down your stomach. Dehydration, same thing. Your meds take the scenic route instead of the express lane. Okay? Let's talk about constipation. Nobody loves it, but it matters. You know, if your gut isn't moving, your meds aren't either. It's like sending a delivery truck into rush hour traffic. It's plugged, jammed. Anyway, levodopa is absorbed in your small intestine. If your food, or let's be honest, your plumbing is backed up, your medication literally can't get where it needs to get to on time. So here's what helps me. I never take my meds right after a big meal. I stay hydrated. I eat lighter during the day, and I take my pills with water, sometimes even sparkling water if I want to get that faster kick in. And Carmen says that I finally drink like a responsible adult. And she's not wrong. I used to skip water and then wonder why my meds took forever to work. Again, the more hydrated you are, the better your meds are going to respond. So here's another tip. Keep that bottle of water beside your meds. It's simple, but it works. And if you struggle with constipation, you need to talk to your doctor. Solving that can feel like upgrading your entire medication plan. It really can. And there is meds to help you. So how about this? Hit that like if you've ever had your meds take forever to kick in. And tell me in the comments what you found help speed things up. I'd really like to know that. As we move on to mistake number 4, inconsistent timing. Parkinson's loves routine. I've told you this, and your meds love it too. Missing a dose by even 20 or 30 minutes doesn't seem like a big deal until it is. And that's when you get those weird midday dips, the unpredictable mood swings, and that awkward, why am I off already feeling? You see, when you delay doses, dopamine levels crash before the next dose hits. Those drops trigger stress hormones like cortisol, and which can make fatigue, anxiety, and tremors way worse. So now I keep what I call a metronome timing, like every 3.5 hours. Well, it used to be every 3.5 hours. Now it's every 2 hours and 45 minutes, give or take 10 minutes. I dose up. And when I do, my whole day's staying steadier. And when the closer I get to that exact time, the better it is. Okay. And from the Carmen's Care Partner Corner, she says this. She says, Bryce is more reliable when our oven timer is more reliable than our oven timer now. And that's a compliment. I think that is. Yeah. Anyway, she likes it. She likes the reliability, right? Because for her as a care partner, it's a heck of a lot easier to kind of help me, right, when I'm steady. You know how that goes. Think about if you're when your children or your grandchildren, and when they're up and down, like a sugar rush. It's like a sugar rush with kids. Like they go wild, and you're like, oh my god, just like take a pill, like chill out, just for a little bit, and then or if they're too down, right, you're like, oh, what's wrong, what's going on? So you're having to over care for them, right, and try to figure out what's going on. That's like us. We're like little kids on sugar. Okay. So from a care partner's perspective, the more level we are, the easier it is for them to help us, take care of us. And again, so I hope that was a compliment. Now, here's a tip. If alarms drive you nuts, then label your bottles, right, with actual times. To have like a little scratch pen with a piece of tape, 6:30, 10, 11, 1:30, whatever time you do. It's visual accountability. But I'm telling you, and if you haven't heard this tip before, and I'll tell you again, the pill cap timer. $6 at Amazon. It's a lifesaver. You get two in a pack. It's so cheap. Look in the description. You'll see a link for it. The one that I use. It's like $6, and I'm telling you, man, I use that thing like it's going out of style. And I know exactly when I took my meds last. Okay, Comet metronome. If you've ever missed, and I'm not telling you how to spell it. If you've ever missed a dose and you instantly regretted it, metronome. All right, let's move on to tip number 5. And this is huge. Ignoring gut health and hydration. Now, this one doesn't get talked about enough. Your gut is your first pharmacy. If it's not happy, your meds aren't going to be happy either. Again, constipation, dehydration, or even certain supplements can all affect absorption. I used to think it didn't matter. Then I fixed it, and my meds started kicking in faster and lasting longer. And I'm like, my God, this works. So, what's that science behind that? Well, hydration keeps your stomach empty normally. Fiber keeps your intestines moving, and both make levodopa more predictable. The gut and the brain are in constant conversation, and Parkinson's makes that line glitchy. So supporting your gut is supporting your brain. Hmm. And Carmen says she can tell when I haven't had enough water because my meds take forever to kick in and work. I get cranky. Okay, fair enough. Here's a tip. Add electrolytes or lemon to your water to make it easier to drink. A hydrated brain is a happy brain, and a happy brain use dopamine better. All right, if you needed this reminder, go grab a glass of water right now. Seriously, I'll wait. I'm just kidding. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, so what actually works? Well, here's my rhythm today. Okay, I usually take my first dose about 6:30 a.m. That's usually what time I get up. And then every 2 hours and 45 minutes, like clockwork, I take my next dose. I shift a bit based on my day, shorter if I'm active, right? Normal if I'm normal, right? And I keep an eye on what speeds things up and what slows them down. It's not perfect, but it is actually predictable. Now here's some more science for you. You have to come to realize this, that levodopa, it doesn't have a long life. Okay, and that's why consistency wins. Because steady timing keeps your brain from swinging between feast and famine. Think of it like keeping your phone on a slow, constant charge instead of letting it die and sprinting for the charger. Wouldn't that be wouldn't that be a a change, right? I mean, I'm the worst at that. I am so bad at keeping my phone charged. It's crazy. But one more thing I want you to realize that levodopa's peak time after you take it is around 90 minutes, okay, to 2 hours. That is like the middle. That's the middle. So when you start realizing that 2 hours after you, about 2 hours and 15 minutes after you take that levodopa, it's already starting to dissipate out of your system. You know, these are averages, but the average is for assumption after you take it, 20 to 30 minutes before it kicks in because it has to get up and going, right? It has to get in there and get in there. Okay. And then you realize that an hour later, it's already starting its decline down. That's why I urge you that, if you're, in this journey and you're not taking you're not taking your meds, your levodopa based on a time period. If it's just like, hey, one in the morning, one at night, or one in the afternoon, I would urge you to talk to your doctor about getting on a regular rhythm because that's where you want to keep yourself. And again, it's better for your brain. It's better for your body, like I just told you, to keep that rhythm. Okay. Wow. We're getting technical today, aren't we? Well, if you made it this far, I do have today's Bryce-ism for you. And here you go. And I hope you like this one. And this is it. With Parkinson's, your meds are like coffee. It's not about how strong it is. It's about when you drink it. So there you go. Those are the 5 medication timing mistakes that can make your Parkinson's worse. And more importantly, how to fix them. And remember, Parkinson's might be unpredictable, but your patterns aren't. Learn them, work with them, and life starts to feel a little smoother. There you go. So hit subscribe. Hey, if you're still watching and you haven't subscribed, you might as well. If this gave you something new to try, drop a comment. Which one of these hit home? And I'd love to you to share that with me. And if you know somebody that might need this video, please share it with them. That would be amazing. I love you. I love what's going on here. I love this movement we're on. I love everybody else. And right now, as of from last week, we've got so many new subscribers again. We're averaging almost 2,000 subscribers a month. Like, we haven't been going long. So if you're new here, welcome to the community and be a part of it. Come join us. Okay. And until next time, I want you to keep showing up. I want you to keep laughing. And I'd love you to keep doing life today. And we'll see you.
Parkinson's may be part of your life, but it doesn't get to define it. Thanks for listening to Living with Parkinson's, the good, the bad, and the reality. If this episode moved you, helped you, or reminded you you're not alone, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Want to go deeper? The Inner Circle is waiting. Monthly Zoom calls, 24/7 community, and a direct line to Bryce. You'll find the link in the show notes. Until next time, keep showing up and keep doing life today.